Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition. This is episode, I believe, 16 we are on Thursday Night Slam. I'm Chio Frost, and the man sitting next to me is
T.Reyes, aka Jobber Extraordinaire.
Yes, we love this Jobber Extraordinaire. We try to take care of him as much as we can. We feed him, we pet him really nicely, and we buy him the wrong cell phone case because that's what I did today.
It's the thought that counts.
I feel so traumatized now.
Now it's on his phone.
Yeah, now it's on my phone.
So remember, what thought was that?
But we're taking donations for the Samsung S what?
S7.
S7. We're taking donations for the Samsung S7 if you have a used one, because we got a used case because he has a cracked one that's mangled. I don't know who he been suplexing, but yeah, he put some work in on that baby.
It's the first and only case.
But tonight unfortunately we had to push back Rebecca Payne because due to uncontrollable circumstances. So she will be on October 28th on Thursday Night Slam. So we end up last minute getting a very impromptu special huge indie star guest that will be with us momentarily. He's running a little late, but he will pop in. But before I bring the other know what? There's one guy we do have to bring in, and he is the better Bernard.
The Saint Bernard.
That's right, the Saint Bernard. That chubby little bastard. He got some nice cute cheeks. I just want to squish him and just put.
Only him wants to do that.
We all know who it is. It's Mikey.
Hey, here I am, everyone.
brother,
What's up, fellas? Good to see you guys.
We missed you last week, buddy. What happened?
Some stuff I had to take care of.
Okay.
Oh, good.
The old lady said, "Let's go now. Move it." She put you in your place, and you like it. You know you do. Just like Pat likes it, Austin likes it, and we know Dennis definitely likes it when his woman beats him. I have a 6 cent. I can't. The viewers can't see, but I have a 6 cent. He's flipping me off right now with a double bird. I can tell he is.
I think you're right.
But somewhere in the stratus atmosphere, he's watching us from above somewhere. But you know what? Before I continue, we tried to get our fearless leader Pat on here, but he decided to opt out. So instead, I'm just gonna run down the cheap plugs, and that is check out everybody at Devereaux Sports Podcast. They're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. All the shows. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I'm going to try my best to read down the list. And that is The Gobbler Inc., The Sullivan Squad.
Them 205.
No. I'm going to stop you right there.
No.
Stop right
Them
there.
215.
No, stop. Stop. They're cut. They got, that show got their neck cut.
Oh, you're the Cowboys fan.
They're cut. They're cut. Let it go. It's over.
Just like the real Cowboys, they choked.
They choked. All right. So anyway, Gobbler Inc., The Sullivan Squad.
Confessions de Lucha.
I didn't get that far yet. That's the affiliates part. Boy, can I?
I'm trying to. You keep pointing at me.
No, I'm pointing everywhere. Just let me go. All right. Let's try it from the top again, folks. Take 3,000. Take 3,000. Here we go. The Gobbler Inc. You sure?
Yes.
The Sullivan Squad. The Old Heads. The Scrapple Boys. The Combat Misfits. As well as us here on Body Slams Podcast. We have Breakfast of Body Slams, Thursday Night Slam, and our pop-up pipe bombs. And coming soon, I'm not gonna say the Godfather, but the vlog god father, of vlogs, video blogs.
Vlogs.
Yeah, the vlog father.
Yeah.
Dennis Reaper. Dennis Reaper will have Reap the Future. With his video blogs interviews. I'm looking well forward for that. I can't wait. He has a fancy banner. I like it a lot. We got to get one, seriously. But till then, we got that Eagles one up there. We're gonna rock that.
That's always
one.
Good.
Hell yeah, that's good. And let's not forget about our affiliates out there. The guys at Tornado Tag Podcast, Anthony, Andy, and Brian. Also, the 2 days at the 2300 Wrestling Podcast, Dave Keener and DB Richards, as well, are affiliates now, all the way in Puerto Rico.
Confessions
de Lucha Libre.
There we go.
There you go. You helped me out with that one. But you know what? I just got word. Our very special guest just showed up. He is here. I think I should bring him on right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, our super indie star that we're bringing in is none other than Dennis Reaper.
Oh, that's funny.
Surprise.
That's funny.
I made you officially. Like, nobody knew. Everyone thought I got a name out there at the last minute to come on, some kind of indie name.
I'm like, who the hell are you bringing on? That last minute, who we got?
Super hey, yeah, that's name. What I was wondering. I'm what?
Like, who's the big name? I'm waiting for it. I'm like, why am I not in the room though? Why am I still not in the room?
Hey. It's only fitting, we're always asking other people questions, but we never ask each other questions. So since Rebecca had to reschedule, I decided, you know what the hell? Dennis Reaper is our tonight's guest.
He just gave him a whole section to himself.
Yeah, you got this whole segment to talk all your shit. And then you're gonna lead. Then you're gonna lead the topic conversation too. So basically, this is the Dennis Reaper show today. Basically.
So hold on. Does that mean I can curse?
You
ask
Pat. Wait. We're not in
the Dennis Reaper show. There's
Pat
no filters.
Pat just sends messages. Don't do that, boys. Don't do that.
Sorry, Pat, but we are not in a fucking studio, and we do not need a fucking blue check mark beside our name. So, and I think he agrees with me. Look, very good. See, very good.
He's actually tuning in.
Well, Pat. Since we all know you're a big Dennis Reaper fan, you can send us questions. You Mark.
Oh, that's epic. I was not
sure
prepared
Dennis
for that.
Gladly tell us how he beat Pat.
Well, in due time. Well, we usually got to stick accordance to a podcast interview wrestler and type script, far as the same old bullshit as we ask everyone else. What was it like growing up? Watching wrestling. Who was your favorites? How'd you the whole basic shebang that we ask everyone.
Yeah.
So Dennis, yeah, how did you get into liking this wacky world that we call wrestling, Mr. Reaper?
I got to like wrestling because I did it as a kid. So I did mat wrestling from like the age of 5, all the way through high school. And I decided after high school I wanted to do professional wrestling. But before that, I even knew you could do it. Some of my friends were getting the events and the pay-per-views, so I was always watching it and stuff like that. And I think Chio and them froze. Mikey, I saw you move. But yeah, so like I would always watch it with friends, and then when Tough Enough first came out, I had said as a kid jokingly, I was like, I want to be a wrestler. I could do this show. Reaper sucks nugs. No, that's you, David. You suck nugs. you're just jealous because oh God, that guy came on. Oh,
Here I
shit,
am.
run.
What's up, dude?
I don't know. I'm the special guest.
Sick.
I didn't even know
what a
this.
promotion.
Right? I don't even know about this stuff. I like surprises. But no, I watch wrestling with all my friends and stuff. But then me and my dad moved to Florida in 2002, right after middle school. And that's when I started becoming friends with people from the street team of TNA and Impact. And I met a guy named Rock and Roll Rouge, who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago due to some illnesses. He was originally my first trainer, and unfortunately the school closed after about 2-3 months worth of training, and I moved back up here after high school, and met Mark Mess and Captain Rick Adams and all them at a Reading Phillies game 4 years prior to it, and then saw a show in Birdsboro and was like, hey, do you guys need help with the ring? And turned out it was the same goddamn people. So I was like, I want to wrestle. And that was it. That was 13 years of getting my ass kicked.
Wow.
What was like the one like defining moment of like watching wrestling that you were just like, oh yeah, like this?
This is what I want to do.
The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 18 in Toronto, Canada. It was me, my dad, and my cousin Christopher. And when I say we were in the Sky Dome in the cheap seats, we were in the goddamn fucking cheap seats. Like they looked like an ant from where we were, but I didn't care. Like we set up by the screen. Like if here's the entrance way, we were like top left-hand corner.
Oh wow!
There was a spotlight like 5 seats from my head, but I didn't care. I was on crutches.
Hey, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, gentlemen, I got a question. We had a blackout over here on both our screens, so I got a question. Mikey and Austin, did you hear and see everything Dennis said?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because we literally popped out the room on both of our screens here, and we don't know what the hell happened. So we're hoping everything you said got recorded. It says we're still live though. So
yeah, Mikey could hear me. I was like, I think you guys froze, but Mikey, you're moving. So
yeah. I just wanted to stop you right there before we continued because I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
So
you're good.
But please continue now.
But no, it was great because when I went to WrestleMania for that event, my dad got the tickets to a gentleman named Chris Monaco, who was a big person in wrestling, in the industry of entertainment, period. Like, my dad and him did DJing back in the day and hung out with, like, people like Cher and Johnny Ball, like, everybody. Like, he's known to everybody. He literally has photos with Cher and everybody from, like, events. He has photos that if like, Chio, I think you have my dad on Facebook. He'll get tagged in like photos from a guy with people from the Different Strokes. Like, he literally knew everybody back in the day. He was that good at DJing. And this guy had some ins. Yes, again, David, screw you. You dick. But he got his tickets for WrestleMania. 4 weeks before WrestleMania, I stretched my ACL, my MCL, my LCL, and my meniscus in my knee in a wrestling match.
Ooh.
So, went to WrestleMania on crutches, couldn't walk, sat in the nosebleed seats, did not give two rats' ass, met a lot of wrestlers.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, I met Benoit, I met Mr. Perfect, I met Jazz, Ivory, Victoria. Like, I mean, I met everybody I could possibly meet. I met The Big Show, I met Kane. You know, I couldn't meet Undertaker because that line was through the roof. I didn't get to meet The Rock. I didn't get to meet Austin or any of them because they weren't there the days I went. But that match between Rock and Hogan was the defining moment that I wanted to do it. Like, that reaction, no one's ever topped it. No one's ever going to top that match in reactions. Like, CM Punk, yes, he had his reaction when he finally came back after 7 years, you know. But that Rock
Hogan,
the
magnitude of Rock Hogan is just
dude.
Yeah, you can't top that.
It's the thing of having certain moments in certain eras.
You can never captivate that match. The match was amazing. It was everything you wanted in wrestling. You had the big bad guy versus the big good guy. You had David versus Goliath because you're like, you got Hulk Hogan with his goons that are going to beat the shit out of The Rock. That's how I saw it. And then you had The Rock win. And then you had the NWO turn on Hogan, and The Rock made the goddamn save. All in one night.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I got
One night.
chills
And
just
you
thinking
had
back to that.
everything as a child you could possibly want to see. Like, yes, you had Triple H versus Chris Jericho for the Undisputed Championship, you know, because that was that match. You had, I believe they had a TLC match. It was the Hardys for, like, there was a shit ton of people. Like,
Stone Cold
everybody was
versus
on that
Scott
match.
Hall, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flair versus Taker. That was their first match. But it was like that. That was the event that really made me like want to wrestle more. Like I was at Judgment Day. I was at a bunch of other events. Yeah, I was at Judgment Day when the hardcore title was 24/7.
Oh my God, I remember
behind
those
the entrance.
days.
Like we sat behind the entrance. That's when that was going on. The
Oh,
entrances
jeez, yeah.
were so low you could sit the fans still behind the entranceways. I used to go to SmackDowns when you had the circle and the big fist and shit.
Yeah,
Like I've been to every type of Raw with the new setup so far, besides the one that they just came out with. So like I'm gonna have to do it again. Be like, hey, now I've seen this set. Cool. It's just the same as the last year. It's just different. Cool.
Yeah.
But no, dude, when I say like when I've been asked that question multiple times and it'll never change, the answer is always gonna be the same. It's always gonna be that match. Nothing will ever change my opinion that was the match that made me want to be a professional wrestler. And then I didn't know if I was still gonna do it. Thanks for reaching out about my time. Absolutely, Dad. Like shit. I'm only in the entertainment business because of you. I got showed the ropes at a young age. I was a DJ assistant. Yo, when I say I was a DJ assistant, we would do Girl Scout banquets, like little getaway camps as the DJs. Yes. I would have to get secretly taken out of the building and put in the car to leave. Only because my dad's DJ friend at the time decided to say, hey, you know how to dance to Bye 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 and you know the words. Here's $50. Here's the microphone. Go and sing it. Okay. Got paid $50 to do it.
Damn.
Should have never did it. I say that now. No.
Should have never.
No.
And going on tour.
Listen, when I say I had to be hidden because that's how those girls were, I was scared for my life.
Yeah, dude. Like what? Like probably like 95, 96? Ish.
But there was 400 Girl Scouts.
Yeah, dude, nah.
Oh, wow.
400. Like, listen, that was the first time I ever performed in front of people, I want to say, besides, like, sporting events.
Pretty much have to, like, fake your own death at the end so that way you can get the clean escort out.
Like I legit didn't help.
Scout cookies.
Yes, I will. I will work for Girl Scout cookies. Thank you very much.
I mean, find me one person that won't.
I know some people that don't like Girl Scout cookies, and they're
you don't need that negativity in your life, Dennis.
They're the devil.
No, not at all.
You don't need that negativity in your life.
But no, so like,
Girl Scout.
I lived in Orlando. Did a lot of the street team stuff with Impact, with some friends down there, which now I consider family. And then I moved back up, and then moved back down into Tampa with a friend of mine named Skip Steyer, who introduced me to, surprisingly, Chris Kanyon, because he was best friends with him, and a gentleman named Luke Hawk. And it was Chris Kanyon that got my head going. He's like, look, if this is something you want to do, do it. He goes, don't let anybody tell you not to do it. He goes, yes, the wrestling sucks. You're going to get hurt. You're going to have injuries. You don't know how good you're going to be. You could be the shittiest wrestler in the world, but you could be the best wrestler in the world.
My favorite strains.
Like, he goes, you never know until you tried. He goes, you will have people that are going to tell you it's stupid, it's fake, it's worthless, it's not a real job. He literally laid everything out on the table. It was like, this is what I've been dealing with all my life.
Yeah, people that tell you it's just not worth it.
And then at that time, that's when I found out that he was gay. I didn't know he was gay until that moment when I hung out with everybody. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay. He looked at me. He's like, you
Wow.
don't care? I was like, do I? Why would I care if you're gay, dude?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
I gotta apologize because me and T is missing half this story since the beginning. No, because something's wrong with the internet here at the
Yeah.
house. So, and we keep blacking out. But since you guys can still hear each other back and forth, and it still says we're recording, so I'm hoping that tonight's broadcast is still recording you guys, at least when we leave. So when I go back and
Right.
play it, who knows? Maybe this night would have been just for shits and giggles for us, for all we know, and we have to run this conversation back another time. Maybe just tape it. I don't know. But for some reason on our end, things are getting screwy. My kids were telling me earlier there was something wrong with the internet. So so I don't blame Rebecca Payne for not showing up tonight because apparently her internet up her way is malfunctioning because she just did a podcast on Tuesday night, and that's why she had to switch. She didn't want to take any chances with the services, the way it's freezing up and going down. And that's what's going on here tonight on my end over here. But if you guys can see each other and keep hearing each other, I'm hoping our feed is still
through.
Yeah, I hope it still records
If not,
properly.
we apologize for our shenanigans. Scream, what the hell's going on?
I blame Xfinity.
But
look, this is how I know our show's still going on, because whenever we're on here, I still have it up on my phone because like there's sometimes the questions don't come up on our end right away. They come up faster on the like cell phone. So that's how I always know that someone said something before before you even see it.
You know, it's funny. The first time it happened, right? It happened twice in a span of 2 minutes, and we were trying to cut in to be like, "Hey, something's happening," but you just kept on rambling and rambling. I'm like,
but I think with the interference, he couldn't hear us.
Anybody asking him anything?
We couldn't hear you.
Yeah,
we couldn't hear you. So we didn't know. Like I could tell something was up because you guys keep disappearing. That's why like. I'm gonna watch the replay
at the end when we're done. I'm gonna watch the replay. So where are we at in this story that I've been missing?
WrestleMania. He just
we passed that.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness, we passed it. Yeah.
I don't even think he made the wrestling school yet.
Chris Canyon down in Orlando.
No, it was about the whole Chris Canyon's the one that like. Well, I already did the whole 2 months worth of training because I did that while I was in high school.
All right. Well, but when I'm talking about, you didn't get up to the dungeon yet. You were down.
No. I'm still in Florida.
Okay, I didn't miss anything really. Yeah.
So I'm still living in Tampa. Chris Canyon pretty much laid the law down. And I loved him for that. Like I had nothing but respect for the guy beforehand. But getting to sit with him and meet him and pick his brain and hear his stories, like I heard some stories. I'm not bringing up these stories, but I heard some fucking stories. Let me just say that. And some of them were very like dark, and then some of them were amazing stories. The amazing stories I'll always cherish. The dark stories were more the like giving me a heads up, like this is what can happen in the business, on how you get treated. But then that shit's been coming out, for years, like Undertaker being a bully to some of the guys that people are outing now, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, it's funny. I never. Like that's the first time I think just coming out of your mouth I ever heard anyone say anything about Undertaker being a bully.
No.
Canyon didn't say he was. Canyon didn't say this. This is a report that just came on the internet.
Oh, okay.
From Rene Dupree. He apparently is coming after Taker, saying that the reason something happened to him and this and that in the ring is because he got shot on by the workers because Taker told him to. Rene Dupree always has had an issue with people in the business. It's not the first time that he's come out to people. Now he always goes after the top guys that have made more money than he could ever imagine in 1 year or in his life. He was good, but he wasn't a great worker. But so I lived in Tampa, and then I met Luke Hawk with my roommate Skip because he is best friends with him as well. And we went to a Lucha Libre show, and I was hanging out with him and Sean Waltman. And I was talking to them about wrestling, and they said the same exact things Chris Canyon said, but they were like, "You're a smaller guy," because at the time I was like 107 pounds, like I was scrawny as shit. Chio can vouch this from the first time he met me. I was a twig. And they were like, for smaller guys, it's harder to get into the business and go further because everybody wants to see the big guys, the muscular, the macho man guys. He goes, you have to work 150 times harder than anybody else you've ever met in your entire life. And I'm like, I can believe it. I believed it. And then, you know, after about a year of living in Tampa, my roommate said he was moving back to Louisiana. And I was like, well, I guess I'm moving back to Pennsylvania. So I moved back up here, and I lived in Birdsboro, mom and my sister, and there was a show at, like I said, in Birdsboro at the community center, and I'm looking at what's going on, and I'm like, well, the name Virus sounds familiar, Mark Mess sounds familiar, Miss Dixie sounds familiar. I don't know why, but they sound familiar. So I called the number, and I'm like, hey, I live in Birdsboro. I see you're gonna have a wrestling show here. I'm interested in wrestling, but I wanted to know if I could help, you know, set up for the show because I didn't have money at the time to pay for it. So I wanted to somehow do something to get to it. And it was for charity. So that, you know, it was at the moment it was Captain Rick that was on the phone, and he's like, absolutely. I'm like, okay. So I get there the day of the show, and I get there way before Mark Mess and them get there with the ring. And Mark pulls in with his truck and his trailer. With Brock with Brock Hyde, and we're all talking, and then Yep, go ahead, Chio.
No, I was gonna say probably Monroe was with him at the time. Nope.
This was just Brock. He came later, but at the time for just the ring rental, it was just Mark and Brock.
And for Captain Rick, that was Cutting Edge Wrestling, right?
Yes.
Wrestling Federation, yes, CWF.
Yep.
All right.
And when Captain Rick showed up, like, we sat down, we talked, and I'm like, I don't know why you guys sound familiar. Like, these are the names that stick out the most to me, and I don't know why. And he's like, have we ever met before? Because you look familiar. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. He's like, he's talking to me, and we're trying to pick each other's brains on where. And then it clicked at the random moment. It was like a Reading Phillies game. I go, it was you, Miss Dixie, Mark Mess, and two other guys, and we were hanging out. My dad was talking to you about me wanting to wrestle, and you guys introduced me. You had a training center in Bristol, PA, or in Blandon, PA, or whatever it was at the moment when he said, and then, like, he goes, holy crap, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So 5 years have passed, randomly meeting each other again at a wrestling event in my own, where I lived, and then that was it. Like, I explained to him, I was like, I don't really have a car. So me getting the training's gonna be hard for right now. And then me and my dad moved into Gilbertsville, and Mark Mess lived right down the street. He was like, he had to pass my house to go to the school. So they were like, why don't you just drive up with him? It's like, okay. So I came up for a tryout. And my try consisted of, they literally go, get in the ring and give us back bumps since you have experience. I'm like, okay. And they had me literally do back bump after back bump for about a good minute until I couldn't move. And then they had me do squats, and I think I did squats for 15 minutes. They just wanted to see if I was dedicated enough to actually do what they wanted me to do. Passed those, did the rope test, the turnbuckles, and going over some bases to see if I was coachable and if I could pick up stuff. And that was in 2008 when I first really got to step in a wrestling ring again. And then it's like, that's history now, like 13 years of almost 14 years.
Yeah, I think the first time me and you met, I'm vaguely I'm thinking it was LVW for some reason. For Bud Carson. Him
and Molson.
I ended up showing up there with some dickhead. I'm sure you remember who it was.
Oh, I'm gonna say, fuck Ray Torres. He's a fucking douchebag. Pardon my French. Sorry, yeah. Find me later.
So anyway, yeah, and that's the first time I came across you, and you were very respectful. Are we still in the room?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Austin just.
Oh,
I think
Austin. It was
stepped out.
Austin that left. That's why I seen one pop away. So yeah, you were very respectful, and you're like, hey, is there any do these guys need help with anything? I'm like, dude, no, it's just our bags. But like, dude, you were willing to help everybody do anything there, and for one, Bud's place is already set up. Well, at the time, it was already set up. It was there. You really didn't have to do anything, but you were always willing to help out where it was needed.
Well, and that's because of who I was trained by. Like I came there with. I was originally when I came to LVW. Now this is a good story. So my very first time coming to LVW, I was supposed to be the manager for Virus, Mark Mess, and Miss Dixie. That's who I was with. And Molson and Bud Carson at the time were the bookers. And they looked at me going, "You're going to wrestle." Like, okay. You're going to tag team with Mr. Bean, Kevin Bean. I'm like, okay. I go, "What's his wrestling name?" They go, "Blitzkrieg." I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll do whatever you need.
I think I remember this kid. I'm not sure. It sounds familiar.
I'll say this. A couple years ago, Ryan Slater on Twitter decided to say he was doing a Nazi gimmick. He's a teacher in Springford Middle School, I want to say it is. He's out by my house now.
Yeah.
And it was a big article, big thing was going on because he got suspended from school being a teacher because they said he was doing a Nazi gimmick, which he wasn't. He was doing a German gimmick. He's German. And he was doing this and not this.
It was just way the people interpret
the way the guy flipped it on the internet, it just looked really bad. And then what's the dude? He calls the school and tattletales like a little punk ass bitch because he's on the internet and he's a keyboard warrior that decided to try to get some guy fired. And the thing is, the school played the whole, they didn't know anything about it. The school knew all about this. He had students' parents bringing their kids to see him wrestle. If the parents thought something was wrong with his wrestling character, they would have said something.
Yeah.
And when I mean
when
I say parents came to this show with their kids, I mean he legit had 2 or 3 rows of students at the shows.
Which in return for him being a teacher, having the parents bring their students, the parents and the students already knew him that he wasn't that person that he was
and when I say the board meeting, like you couldn't even go to the board meeting and talk unless you were actually someone that went to that school. King Kalua went there and defended him. A bunch of big people from the area went there and defended him. Every parent in the school that knew him went there to defend him. And they're like, I can't really go into too much detail because I know a lot of stuff behind the scenes about what transpired in the board meeting with them and him. But that's why he doesn't wrestle no more. I'll say it that way.
Because he wanted to keep his job.
I'll say, it's like that. No, it's that that 90-day contract BS stuff. But his is for life.
Shit.
As that wrestler, he can wrestle again if he wanted to. He just has to do something different. But the dude's happy. He's married. He has a family. He has a house. He still has a great job. I wouldn't risk it. It's not worth it. It's honestly at that point, it's not worth the squeeze anymore. Dakota, that is exactly where you met me. You and your family are probably without a doubt my very first Dennis Reaper fans besides my father. Yo, what up, Mr. Commentator, co-partner, dude from Saturday at Outbreak? That was fun. By the way, that was fun. But that was LVW, and then another LVW story. I used to team with a guy named.
And back then, from when I remember, you had a bald. I believe you had a bald head back then too.
I had no hair at that time. I always had the nice, cleaned haircuts. I always made myself look very nice and facious. A good guy kind of.
Yeah.
But it was weird because I was Dennis Reaper and I was a manager for the heel teams and I got flipped to be a face. I appreciate that, man. I really, really do.
I think you're gonna be switching to commentary.
Man, I did commentating and I took pictures at Outbreak. I double dutied on that actually, and we did a podcast. I did 3 jobs in one day.
Oh yeah.
But no, it was a lot of fun doing commentating at that show. It was easy, I'll say, because of the guy working with you, Anthony, and having our other analysts. It
Mark
was 100%. Yeah, it was so much fun. And we all just flowed off each other. We understood where we were going with it. I know I had your coworker Alex at the end laughing at some of my one-liners, so it made my stupid jokes feel good. But yeah, I was a scrawny young buck, and then they had me leave Kevin Bean. I remember the very first show at LVW. I was a tag team match too versus 2 guys, and I took a suplex on the concrete floor out of nowhere. Guy just hooked me and fucking went with a snap suplex, and I lost my shit in the locker room, and so did Bud Carson and Molson. And my trainer's like, "Hold on, did y'all call that with him?" He goes, "No, I just did it." Well, you don't do that with people that don't know how to take that goddamn move on concrete. I knew how to take a snap suplex, so it's whatever. It sucked and it hurt like a son of a bitch. But thankfully, bumping on concrete at the dungeon kind of helped for that. And Chio knows what I'm talking about.
It's yeah.
Wow, I've been there.
It's especially like when you train and you're bumping hard, especially on concrete and shit like that. When it's time to bump in a hard ass ring and everyone bitches complains about, it becomes like nothing to you. It's like bumping on a bed of water or whatever.
Yeah.
And people don't realize how much abuse we put our bodies through, but we get that adrenaline rush, and it just and we don't feel it until later on after when it wears off or the next morning.
Look, I was gonna say eventually you gotta feel it.
I feel like crap the next day.
Yeah,
I don't want to do shit the next day after.
It's like you got hit by a truck and
Oh, it's exactly what it is. I'll say it this way: I'm 34 years of age. My dad is 73. My medical record is bigger than his.
Holy shit! I haven't had the luxury of having one that big.
But I've also been playing sports since I've been 5 years old, so I kind of get, it kind of comes with the territories. But wrestling has not helped. I've sprained my spine. I've torn my meniscus. I've dislocated my wrist. I've dislocated my fingers.
Welcome to the kids. Welcome to the business, kid. You're doing it all.
Exactly. I've dislocated my shoulder in the middle of a match and then put it back in the middle of a match. And kids,
wow,
do not ever do that. Don't ever pop your shoulder back into place in the match. That was the dumbest decision I ever made. I've had my head busted open. I mean, pouring out blood. I've had a concussion from Jason Havoc when he hit me in the head with a steel chair because I didn't do it right.
Ooh.
To where I had I literally have a photo where the egg mark was all right here. It was like a half of an egg on my head. And then I had to wrestle the next day at LVW with a concussion.
Hey, Dennis, we got a surprise for you.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Oh, look at that shit.
Welcome.
That's awesome. That's good business right there. I'm just saying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the room, we have Anthony Blackwell from the Tornado Tag Podcast, which he was on earlier before at 7. That's right. There's the logo. He was on at 7 o'clock right before us. So I hope these guys had a good show. I didn't get it. I couldn't log on to see it or anything like that because I was busy setting this up for tonight.
Don't lie, you hate us.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I really do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have used on here or in Hamburg the 2 times. Yes, and I hate you so much. I plug you guys every show. That's how disgusted I am because I want people to tune in to see how bad your show is, and they should tune in every Thursday at 7 just to see how bad you are from start to finish.
That's how
much we don't like you.
But yeah, Chio, I don't know if you remember back in LVW, it was me and a gentleman named Skull, and we were the name LVW gave us was Team RIP.
I vaguely remember somebody named Skull. I vaguely do.
Synod, whatever his name is. It's Dennis backwards.
Oh, okay.
But without two N's.
Gotcha.
That's what he wrestles as now. But it's one of the guys from Riot City.
Sicken?
Yes, there it is. I don't know why I can never pronounce that fucking name properly. But I always screw it up. But oh well. But yeah, so like they put us together and they were like, you know what? Go outside, come up with a tag team name. So me and him go outside. Dude, we probably smoked like 4 or 5 cigarettes at that time, and we had like a couple of other smoking things going on, but whatever. And we came up with some good names, and then Molson just comes out and goes, "You guys are Team RIP. That's the name for you guys." And I'm like, okay.
It just happens. Whatever. Just
whatever.
You just throw a bunch of shit against the wall and see what sticks.
But what was great about it is their first tag team match was us two with a gentleman named Cowboy Death, a gentleman named Ink.
I remember Cowboy Death.
So it was us 4 versus pretty ugly Adam and Jimmy Dream and Adam Ugly. There it is, Adam Ugly. I couldn't remember his last name.
Adam Ugly and No Chin.
Yeah, No Chin. And Axel Rotten. So it was it was supposed to be a 4-on-4.
Who's he putting the thumbs down for?
No Chin.
Oh, okay.
Oh, none of us like him. Like, don't get me wrong, bro. I'm with you. I don't like him at all.
Very, very arrogant.
Oh, beyond arrogant. He thinks he's king shit with no chin and disrespectful to weak females. So
yeah,
I just don't like the whole allegedly doing what he did with photos to children.
Nope. I don't either.
And then nowadays, himself and a lot of promotions are playing it off like nothing ever happened.
Well,
I was at a show recently with him, and I wouldn't give him a dab.
Listen, I remember, but I worked ACPW's very first show they had back before COVID, and they had him on the show, and he came and was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" I was like, "Hey man."
Dakota, thank you for the compliment on T-shirt, Dakota. I have a strong wrestling T-shirt game. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see it.
You really do have a strong T-shirt. I don't even have one like that. I have more for like the dummy T-shirts I buy at Walmart, like the Goofy movie.
Oh yeah.
That's my type of tee.
I tell everyone this is my Killian McMurphy shirt.
I've got a Rowdy Ronda Rousey shirt on.
I got a Ravens T-shirt on. You know.
Yeah, he has.
I see you're all decked out, buddy.
Hell yeah, I am. Denver Broncos on. T has.
I'm sorry about that, T.
What?
He's sorry about you wearing a Bronco shirt.
They got 3 championships.
I'm only one behind you.
And
that's all right, though.
And
that's
me, gentlemen, and I'm sporting the AWF, the AWF shirt for All Star Wrestling Federation, which is huge for me right now because this logo here I created, which I was paying homage to the AWF where I started at. Tomorrow will actually be 27 years. Will be my anniversary. Will be my when I debuted. And just I'm sorry to cut you off, then, but this past Sunday after Outbreak, I got to run into Damian Kane, the godfather of pro wrestling or extreme, whichever. And he was my trainer. And me and him were standing there talking, and he's telling everyone, "Yeah, this is one of my students right here." And some years ago, he reached out to me about doing the body slam stuff. So and he said about me doing the podcast and how he gave me his blessings for if I wanted to resurrect Body Slams Pro Wrestling Training Center, I have his 100 support approval. Awesome. So if and when I open up a school, it will be Body Slams Pro Wrestling Training Center. And at that moment, while I was there with him, I asked him, I said, now, since I got you the approval for that, do I have your approval if if life allows me, would I be able to resurrect All-Star Wrestling Federation? I will not do it without your approval. And he gave me his approval to do that as well. So AWF, if anything, since I am the only graduate from the first class who's still doing something in the business, I'm basically the godson of pro wrestling or whatever, since he's the godfather. so basically Body Slam Training Center and AWF one day hopefully will resurrect together under my under whoever wants to join me for the ride.
Calling all money marks. Where you at?
No.
I want a trainer. I want to be a trainer.
Not even. I just want some honest guys who are loyal, who wants to who just wants to do right by the business and bring wrestling back the way it was meant to be.
You know, have somebody with money.
And thing is, people talk about it all the time. They want wrestling the way it used to be. Well, I'm all game for it. I just got to find that right team of crew that's going to stick by me. And I don't mean stick by me where it's more or less like, oh, you work for me, you can't work for them. No, work for whoever you want. Let's just build something beautiful so we can get back to the newer generation, the next aspiring wrestlers or referees or whoever, whatever part of the business that they want to do. Let's get back to them so we can keep growing the business.
Yep. Speaking of t-shirt game, I actually have in front of me your daughter's t-shirt came in.
Yeah, that red on the back looks nice. Oh, okay. And you see that logo, guys? That German suplex is one of Jocelyn's photos, and that's Adina Steele giving a German to Kit Raff.
Yep, at GSW's reunion show. Speaking of something real quick, boy, did I call my shot. When we had our previous Pipe Bomb podcast before Outbreak show, I said Quay and Tommy Vex were going to tear the house down. Did they not have a really good match that show?
They did have a good match.
That was awesome.
But I don't know. I'm a little. I think that if I got to give top 3 matches, they're definitely the top 3. I won't say I don't think they were number 1 or number 2, but they were definitely the third best match.
I feel you expected a good match between Andy and Ian. You expect a good match with Kakoa and Cortez. And not that you shouldn't expect a good match from Quay and Tommy.
I have to be honest. I barely could see hardly any of the matches on the little screen that I had on my side, because I put the big screen over for the guys in Gorilla area who was running that side. For me, I needed another screen, so I put the little monitor with my little webcam. So the guys were with the ring lights coming down. Everyone was like glowing for me. So I basically I had to fill the show out of when the match was over or whatever to pick. So I really didn't get to see the matches per se. So
well, good thing someone filmed it so you can see that replay.
Yes, that's a smart businessman right there. So just saying.
So, Dennis, now, since we're on the subject of you, Mr. Indie Superstar, who was my surprise to bring on, did you hear any of that in the beginning, Tony?
No, I was...
Yeah, well, here's the thing. We had Rebecca Payne scheduled to be on. Due to technical difficulties, we rescheduled her for October 28th. So I'm plugging these guys. We have a huge indie name, whatever, coming on. And he's trying to figure out, our producer's trying to figure out. I'm like, okay, he'll be here shortly. He texts me, and Dennis is already here in the room. And I'm like, okay, but I left him in the green room before I brought him in on the screen. And I'm like, and Dennis is sitting back wondering why he's not on the screen with the rest of us. And I'm going through all the plugs. I'm plugging everyone's shows and this. And they said, oh yeah, you know what? I just got notified our big indie name, who our last minute booking is here right now. We're going to bring him in the studio, and boom, I bring Dennis in. And Dennis is like, what the fuck? I'm like, hey, surprise. You are our indie name, because, I needed something. And why not? Why not Dennis Reaper? Why not?
Now, am I considered an indie guy because of the production, and now I officially do commentary?
Sure, we can go there with that. Why not?
Right. And listen, I'm not Chris Van Fleet, but I will be one day.
Exactly.
One day. You got a nice voice.
Listen,
I like your voice, Daddy.
I believe that.
Yeah. Just remember, they had to pay Chris Van Fleet to be at Outbreak one time. I filmed 3 shows.
Wait, hold up. Wait. They paid Chris Lee to be on Outbreak. He just walked on our show.
Yeah.
He really did walk on the show.
It basically it was like I just asked him. I said, dude, would you care to join us? He said, yeah, sure, no problem. And he came right out without hesitation.
You had him on your show. And you have never listened to one of his fucking podcasts before he sat down and didn't even know his last name. I know. If you realize when you hear me on here a lot of times I butcher people's last names.
Oh, he really does.
Yo, when I see him sit down, I was like, "Fuck, I want to go back over and sit down."
So
I gave such a good interview.
What I did, I kept practicing his name because, like I said, I butcher it.
Follett, I think you said. It's
like I knew who he was.
Leave me alone. Stop picking on me.
Like I had the best seat in the house because his table was next to me, so I was talking to him almost all day.
Yeah. Probably one of the 3 names that the reason I got into interviewing podcasts, and he's just sitting there and you're just like, "Hey Flett, what's up?" I'm like,
I'm a horrible person. I'm so horrible.
Oh,
Dennis.
Yes.
What was some of your better promotions that you really loved, enjoyed working for? I'm gonna say give me your top 3. I know it's gonna be hard because you're working with guys now, and a lot of those other companies would like to be in that top 3. But I'm talking about all around, like from start to finish. You know, even ones that are not even around anymore, you can put in that category. Your favorite 3.
I'd have to say LVW.
Okay.
I'm not going to give them a spot where they are, but LVW only because of the fans and the boys. You know, yes, it was ran sometimes like crap, and yes, none of us 90% of the time got a payday. But again, sometimes at the time it wasn't about the payday for me; it was more me having fun with the fans. Like Dakota Snyder said, like I met him through LVW. Him and his family have their family to me. Like that's my little brother. So like those fans really did give you that home treatment and the appreciation of what we were doing. Like we were packing the house. Like the Merchant Square Mall wasn't a big flea market area, but where we were and having a small ring, we were having almost all the rows taken up. There wasn't really many shows. We had like under 100 people. And those fans gave you everything. So like that's one promotion that's my top 3. The other one would be Freedom Pro Wrestling. It was out of Wisconsin. My very first show there, it was me versus one of our students from the school, one of Mark's students from the school. His name was Glenn, but his wrestling name was G Muscles, and that's a great story for that match. But we wrestled it was his very first show ever. His first match was supposed to be against me, and unfortunately the card changed. You know, card subject to change, and the promoter sat me down and him down and goes, "Look, you're not wrestling each other now. You guys are going to go out. You're going to have your match for about 30 seconds, and then Carlito's going to come out there, and he's going to shit can your boy." I'm like, "Okay." He goes, and then he's going to toss you an apple. You're going to think you're cool. You're both going to take a bite, and he's going to spit it in your face and give you backstabber. I'm like, "Fucking hell right, let's go." I was excited. Like, I did not care that I was about to really hurt because I've heard stories on how painful it was, and I didn't care. I'm gonna get someone to spit on my face and be totally okay with this, you know, in a non-sexual way. But
I'll spit on your face.
No, I'll pass. No, I'm not even gonna make the joke I was gonna make because that's really, really gonna get me in trouble. But so we we're like, all right, whatever, you know, we're not gonna have our match, but they're gonna give him a match though. They were like, he's gonna get a dark match with a guy that's Kid America. He was wrestling Kid America. So they get done their match, and he's just they didn't want him to wrestle as anything else, and he wrestled under another name, another mask. And we get to the locker room, and our segment's match 4, and the promoter comes up and goes, "Hey, Carlito's stuck in Chicago, and is not going to make it here for your match. Your match is back on."
You're like, damn.
So this is how big this show was. Al Snow was on the show. The Outlaws were on the show. Carlito. There was a good 5 or 6 people on this show, big names. So there was 3,500 people, maybe 4,000 people in this gymnasium for one show. And we're like, all right, cool. So the guy goes and runs to the locker room because Mark Mess, Teddy Fine, and the Ted Heads were going up against the Outlaws for a tag team match. So the dude walks in and looks at Mark and goes, "Hey, Troy, we need you to come with me. Me and Dennis's match is back on. We want to talk to you a bit about it and hit some ideas off of you now." He's like, all right. So the Outlaws thought that this kid's match was going to be the drizzling shits because they found out that it was his first match. When I say that Billy Gunn and Road Dogg sat at Gorilla watching our match, I'm being dead serious. They sat at the Gorilla and watched the entire goddamn match. And we killed it. We had a phenomenal match.
That is freaking awesome, dude.
But here's the best part about here. There's 2 great things about this. The first one is I did a dark gimmick. I had the face paint, the drool in the blood. I had the upside down star, the 666. Wisconsin fucking loved me. I go out and I'm getting cheers and pops, and I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. I'm the bad guy here. So I'm like,
I wonder if there was a lot of goth kids in the crowd.
No, Wisconsin's old school, so they root for the bad guys. They don't like the good guys.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, it's so great out there. That's what I love about them.
They must be all Republicans.
I will drop this little hint. I told the guy before our match, I go, listen, at the end of the match, if they're cheering me, when you sit up, I'm going to kick you in your face. I need them to hate me and give you cheers. He goes, all right, cool. So I go out for a match. I'm sitting in the turnbuckle on the mat, in the turnbuckles, drooling the blood, and out of nowhere I hear Jersey Shore music, which is not his goddamn music. He's called G Muscle, so it fits him, but he's not from the Jersey Shore. And in my mind, I'm like, for the love of God, do not come out and throw your fist in the goddamn air and go, let's go. Tell me how. I'm saying this in my head, and the boy comes running out, let's go. Boom. All throughout the building. And now I'm sitting here going, fuck, I'm the bad guy. And you're the face. And now, like, dude, you just, why? First off, DJ, you screwed up. But it happens. Mistakes do happen. Your music gets mixed up, and they just don't do the right stuff. So, like, I'm dying inside. Like, I'm keeping a straight face. I'm not breaking character, but I'm dying at this moment. Because when I mean you have 3,500 people booing you in a gymnasium, it was like the CM Punk cheers for him, like when he wasn't coming back. Just to hear CM Punk for a little bit. That's how loud it was. So we go through this match. I finally get the fans to get behind him and hate me a little bit. We get to the finish. I pin him 1, 2, 3, and the pop's there. I'm like, shit. Like, all right, well, taking your face off. And I literally, I go down and I start punching him. The referee's like trying to get me off, and I'm like, sit up and take a boot to the face, kid. He's like, all right. And he sits up, and we always teach everybody to, protect yourself at all times. He does not put his hand up. He does not protect himself.
Oh, he ate it.
Dude, and when I say he came to the locker room, the imprint of my Adidas that I had on was on the side of his head. Because I do protect you when I kick you, but at the same time, I'm making contact still. And I mean imprint. We get to the locker room. I get through the entranceway because he's still out in the ring. And I mean, I am gassed. I am huffing and puffing. Like, I should not have smoked that pack of cigarettes before the show, because I won't lie, I was nervous as shit. That's the largest crowd I've ever wrestled in front of. And I'm hunched over, huffing and puffing, and I hear, good job, kid. And I'm like, yeah. not knowing, I'm thinking it's some random worker, and I look to my left, and so be it, it's fucking Road Dogg and Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
I pop up, I'm like, I am so sorry.
Wow.
I did not mean that. I apologize. He goes, no, you were gassed and you were winded because you went out there and just had an amazing match. I go, what did I do wrong, though? They go, there was 3 things you did wrong. We'll talk about that later because we have our match, but great match. And I'm like, I'm still so sorry that I pretty much was like, shoo off. I don't want to talk. He goes, I wouldn't blame you. You did a moonsault and ate shit. Like you ate the mat like how Bully Ray and how he takes his face bumps and eats nothing but it's just flat. But
so
getting that's those 2 shows, and as much as people hate on them, Triple WA is still top 3. I gotta give it where they have it. They've been around for years upon years upon years, and they took a chance on me for years and took a chance on me and letting me be their U.S. champ and, giving me opportunities to do what I do when I come back every now and then, so those are my top 3 shows.
Anthony, so since you're the veteran podcaster here and you like asking questions, I'm going to leave you with the ask young Dennis here a wrestling question that you might be interested in, if anything you might like to know.
Hold on a second. This guy wrestling Connecticut drank a shit ton of beer before it much. Sorry, I was reading Dakota's comment.
Wait, hold up. Let's put it up there for everyone to see.
Oh dear God, the guy wrestled in Connecticut drank a shit ton of beer before a match, and Troy and them knew that. Ooh, if they didn't know that, man, Troy and Marco kill him.
If you can pick 3 people from the Outbreak locker room, because I don't know a lot of the other promotions you just rattled off, who would be people you would like to square off with on the Outbreak roster? I know you got a chance to square off with a lot of them during the quarantine files, but like Hamburg Fieldhouse, get to wrestle in front of that crowd in that building. Who are some names you would like to share the ring with?
Tyler Ash for one. 100% hands down. That is the guy that I tell him all the time I want to face him.
My dream match is him versus the Ball.
That would be an amazing match. Like Ryan, if you're watching, you have to book that match, man. You have to. Yeah. It pays for itself on just the price of admission. Let's see. So yeah, Tyler Ash is one. I want to say I want Kevin Mears. I want to go after Kevin Mears. That dude, this past week, going up against Grey Wolf, like those 2 big dudes went to war.
It's a good match.
And I loved it. I was at ringside for that entire match. I was not sitting with you guys on commentating. When I tell you that that ring bounced me off, just sitting there to take pictures, I mean physically shot me off the apron just from that. And third, if it would ever happen, see, that's hard. So that roster is big. Because I've already faced Ed, not at Outbreak, but in another show. I've faced Grey Wolf. I've teamed with Grey Wolf. I've gone up against Ian Bush and Ryan Vox in tag.
Andy Header.
I've you know what, Tom? Give me Tommy Vex, actually. Yeah. I faced Andy Header and I've beaten Andy Header. So I've already checked that off the list.
Yeah.
But that's also crazy bringing up Andy Header. But yeah. But that'll be something I'll bring up about the video I shared earlier today.
Andy Header is a Tornado Tag favorite.
I know.
My boy.
Bias.
It is biased, but Andy Header has earned that, dude.
True.
I could pick on Andy Header all week. We could all pick on Andy Header all day long.
Me and Header went to a time limit draw for the new championship.
Look, wow, that's a throwback. Because I remember, I was supposed to be in the very first ever ladder match at Noof. And I won't lie, I told them that I was not cleared to wrestle, but I ditched their show for another promotion down in Carolina. I feel horrible, but here's the thing. They wanted me to do a 6-man ladder match, and I think it was for the Top Gun title, I think, whatever that was. The Young Guns.
I literally hate when you got multiple people in a match like that. I can see it most as 4, like as a tag team, if you're doing a tag team ladder match, something like that. But any more than that, you know.
Well, here's the thing. I said I would be in for it, but here's what I needed for pay. And I need half up front. I wasn't for them. I was because there was times we agreed on a payment and never got it, and they would give me the BS. Well, you know, we already took the money. The money already, like, get the hell out of here. And the good thing at the time, I wasn't part of the co-owners of it, so it was the 2 mics. Yeah, and it wasn't. And the thing was, it wasn't Zimmerman that was taking the money. It was Johnson. They're both. I don't like either one of those guys, but that's one's personal reason. The other guy because he's a scumbag.
Let me jump up to Mikey. Now, are your gears turning? Do you have any questions for Dennis?
Yes, actually. How did you meet my brother Pat? How did you come across that?
Man, you going for the jugular on this one. Shots are fired on that one. So I met Pat in 2000 and right at the end of 2008. And I went with Mark Mess to a show called ACPW, where I train guys at now.
And that's where you met Pat, right?
That's where I met Pat. But
okay, show's over. We're done, Dennis. Thanks for coming on. You talking to Pat just killed the show. We're done. We're going off the air. We're not going to do the plug. Sorry, Pat, you suck. But no, go ahead. Please continue.
Actually, real quick, guys, I gotta cut out. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you for coming on. We were shortly. We were going to get into some quick wrestling talk, but if you got to be out, that's cool.
I got some stuff I got to do. My wife just got done painting our bedroom, so I got to help remove and set everything up because I want to sleep in my bed tonight, not on the couch. So thank you guys so much.
So I'm guessing. So I'm guessing you guys touched on the whole AEW stuff on your show. Yeah. You want me to give a quick rundown of what I said? Well, okay, if you want, because that's what we're probably going to touch on that too ourselves.
So essentially, your point. What I said is it wasn't a make or break for me. It wasn't end all be all. I'm just not in the camp that I thought it was the greatest thing I've ever seen. The matches were all fantastic. As a show, every match was great. But I can say the same thing when it comes to the wrestling on Raw and SmackDown. The wrestling is fine. Just every time a match ends, it always ends in a. Can I curse?
Go ahead, please.
It ends in a fuck finish, and it's annoying. And when you see it every single week, and they're like, they start the show like, fine, the main event's gonna be these 2 great huge names. It's like a pay-per-view style match, and then it never ends in a clean fashion. And listen, I understand that's wrestling, but every single fucking week. So then AEW pitches this giant show, and we get a time limit draw. It's fine. I can live with that. But then the card keeps coming through, and I see, oh, Cody and Malachi. Well, that's going to be a fuck finish. And then we have the women's championship, the 3 big ones you promoted, and we had no clear-cut winners in any of them. Or like I don't know. It just, to me, it's like if I understand you want to build to always build towards a pay-per-view, but every now and then on TV you gotta throw something, you know. And if that's going to be a trend, I'll do what I do with WBE. I'll just wait for the pay-per-view. Because if you're not gonna. If weekly television is just that stuff, I don't need to tune in.
Okay,
But I said I love AEW. I'll continue to keep watching, but this is the first red flag for me to be like, hey, next time you give me a marquee matchup on a Dynamite, I'm gonna be a little I'm gonna be like, okay, I know you're protecting champions. You can't have anyone, you know, but Kenny could have still lost that match, and we could have been storyline wise right where we are right now because there was no title on the line.
All right. Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you got Anthony Blackwell's point of view of the AEW on Dynamite. Thank you, Anthony, for coming on. I'm sure we'll get together again, either on one of our shows or on your show by chance, whichever happens. But we make things happen.
Yeah, maybe next Thursday I'll be able to sit down for an entire show. I'll hang out for a whole, so I don't come in and dip in and leaving.
we have Dylan Mesh coming on next week at the top of the hour for our interview, and then afterwards we will hit up the whole general wrestling talk. So
Cool.
yeah, so I don't know if you want to pop in for the whole show or just pop in for the second part.
Whatever you're willing to have me. I feel like I owe you a show after coming in late and leaving early.
No, you're good because you popped up on our pop-ups. So it's good. It works out for us.
Well, listen, everyone supporting this podcast, keep doing so. That is what makes podcasts grow, and keep continuing to do it. It's a lot to scream into the void. So it's awesome to see the comment section rolling, and keep supporting awesome independent podcasts, and keep letting them do what they do. See you guys so much. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
I have a question for Dennis.
Go ahead. T, you're up next.
Pull up your shirt.
What? Pull up my shirt.
No. Do this.
What? Why?
AWF. First ever Scrapple Mania. You, me.
Scrapple Mania?
Scrapple.
Mania, he said.
I don't eat Scrapple. That shit's nasty.
Damn.
Well, it's something whatever mania he wants you. You and
He
him
wants
on
me.
On AWF.
AWF.
If it ever happens.
Let their people contact my people. We'll discuss a fee.
We're gonna
I'm still trying to figure out if they're gonna contact me.
We're gonna set it up on the next AEW video game when it finally comes out. The first one, we'll do a Scrapple Mania on there, and you guys can come with your characters. Hey, why not? You see all these E-Feds out there online doing it.
So that means we can have Bernard versus Bernard.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
And Mikey,
That's true.
Mikey, your character better kick his ass. You better have some cool moves.
Like I want to see.
Oh, hey.
50.
Hey, and you know what? I'm not gonna tolerate shit. Your character better have fucking boots. I'm telling you. I don't want to see no fucking sneakers and shit like that.
No, but for real though.
But
God,
that we're gonna cut straight to the segue. That first match between Brian and
well, we're still talking to Dennis though.
Oh, are we?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
We're not. We didn't.
So we
cut
really
away.
had Scrapple Mania.
So, but before we got away, Dennis was actually Dennis was talking about how he met Pat at ACPW. That's where we left off.
Oh man, my drink went down the wrong pipe. Shit.
Did I mention Pat? He got all messed up.
I almost choked on my soda because of how horrible he is. But no, I was at ACPW, and the promoter Gemini asked if I was able to wrestle, and I said, "Talk to Mark Mess. That's my trainer." And I got the green light. I got put in the semi-main event for my first match ever in this company. And it was me, Doyle Day, Frankie Frizzo, or me, Doyle Day, Vinny Hoffa versus Frankie Frizzo and Kwame. And I got my ass whooped badly. Like I got some stuff in, but like when I say it was 100% old school, to where I got maybe like 2 or 3 offensive moves, that was pretty much what I got to do.
Oh boy!
But I was very green. So I also wasn't allowed to do a lot of stuff. Like I was only allowed to do what Mark and them agreed that I was allowed to do.
Now, you mentioned about being green, which was going to bring back to my question right now is like your current status in the business, and if you had to come up on a green you back then, what some advice would you give yourself?
Man, I would say if I say what I want to say, I'm gonna get in. It'll dig a hole and maybe burn some bridges. But I can't really say that.
I'm gonna go on a ledge.
I'll say it this way: I would look at different. I would do what I did, but at a different direction.
I'm gonna say certain things when it comes to business. You're gonna tell yourself which characters along the way that you met and worked with of who to trust and not trust.
Yes, 100%. That would be one of those things. Like the other things would be, take everything in, enjoy it in the beginning, because now I'm 13 years in, and I'm like I like it. I still love it. I want to do it, but at the same time, I'm like, I could do anything else on a Saturday. It doesn't really matter to me.
And then at the time, right now, we are a little bit older.
Yeah.
We have wear and tear on our body. So no matter how much, you go to the gym way more than I do, because I don't go for shit. The fact of the matter is, though, even though you do go work out, the age factor and the condition still catches up, because it's wear and tear on the body. Yes, you can fix it a little bit. You can put a Band-Aid on it. You can build your cardio back up, but it's not going to be like when you were younger, though, and all that stuff. Same thing, So, yeah, I'm just saying for guys our age, you just got to, work smarter, not harder while you're in the ring.
Unless you're AJ Styles.
That makes sense.
But it would really 100% be, I should have listened to my gut instincts and went to a certain place to where I wanted to go, but I went a different route. I'm still thankful for the route I went, but I feel I would have got I don't want to say it without being disrespectful, because it's going to come across as a dick.
Probably would have got maybe a little bit further than what you got now.
I'll say it that way, yes. I would have knew a lot more, I think, on how not to be and how things needed to be.
Yeah.
Character-wise. In ring-wise, I got trained great.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say not every school pretty much has the basics, but not every school can teach you 100% of which way, right? Like one school might be great at doing promos better than the other school. The other school might do lucha libre better. This other school over here might do a lot of Brazilian jiu-jitsu and teaches submissions to their students and stuff. So, like, even though a lot of schools are similar in training, but there's some that are specifically better than others in certain fields.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got. And that's why a lot of students go to different schools, and trainers are like, oh man, why are you going to that school where you should come here and train? But yeah, there's stuff that they can teach me that you can't.
Yep. Like, it's just part of the game. Like, you learn from other people other ways. I just wish I had a little bit more help with my character development at that moment, because I kind of got thrown to the wolves, which, hey, I'm all for. But it didn't really have a character. I didn't really know I still, at this point, still trying to figure out who the hell Dennis Reaper is. We all know I'm a brawler and I like to fight, and it's not matches. This is literally a battle and a war. I'm not going for wrestling. I'm going in there to fight you.
I come to learn that through the characters I played throughout the years, the best character I have been was me, just the generic wrestler, the plain generic wrestler, just wear tights, boots, go out there. And I realized the fans got behind me more, me being me, genuine, just being genuine, than either me working under a hood, wearing face paint, looking like Rocco Rock back in my early days, whatever. Like for all the characters that just the basic, simple, old school me worked.
Yeah.
But I always thought I needed a character, which I didn't.
And that was my thing. I always thought I needed one until I was talking to somebody that's on a bigger company. And they literally said, if you get to cut a promo, just be you. When you cut that promo, you will know your character. And I can tell you 100%, every time I cut a promo, I know who I am, because I'm not pretending to be somebody. I'm not trying to be somebody else. I'm 100% being me. My promos, my video work is all legit. I am really saying real life shit about this person. I'm not sugarcoating it, but it's real. It's not this, I have a script here, I'm going to read what this told me or what I wrote down 4 days ago to work on this promo. It doesn't come across real. It's bullshit and fake.
It's like some of the best people out there on promos and this and that is like, a lot of them were described as, yes, that's him. That's really him, but turned up like 200%. Look at guys like Steve Austin.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
it's just
true.
it's just original. That it's whatever Dennis is, whoever Dennis is, turn that some bitch up at 200%, and there you are.
100% agree. But that's what honestly I would tell myself. There'd be other things I tell myself, but those are things for off the air. I won't.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. We have a lot of stuff where where we don't want to burn bridges at the same time.
Yeah.
Where there's stuff that we good-heartedly we want to say stuff to certain people, but at the same time we respect them enough. We don't want to, give them the wrong impression or whatever.
Absolutely.
So anything that spews out of our mouths could be taken the wrong way, hit or miss. So we got to be. So nowadays we have to be very careful what we say to people, because a lot of people now are sensitive. I hate to say that like that.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
In fact, people are very sensitive, and with the world of the internet, people will quick jump on and bash, throw shit out there, and whatnot. But Dennis, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you coming in. Time's running out, but we got some more important things to discuss than your career, such as such as wrestling on TV that everyone on the internet just bitches and complains about. So I'm going to turn this show over to our guy who's going to be in charge of the topics, to our other Dennis. Hey, Dennis, welcome back. We got rid of the other guy. We got rid of that jobber right now.
Man, that jobber guy was an asshole, man.
Hey, Dennis, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Dude, the other guy was just doing a lot of talking of bullshit.
I know, he got under my skin. I actually challenged him.
Yo, he wouldn't shut the fuck up.
I don't know. Look, I don't know who would want to wrestle that guy. He sounded like one that he had to stick up his ass. No, he sounded like he had to stick up his ass. He probably does, but he's not just going to tell anybody.
He's, because he really sounded like a bitter old vet.
Yo, he really sounded bitter. Very, very, very. Dakota Stetter said, "What did I miss?" Dakota, you missed a lot, man. This other guy, Dennis Reaper, was on the show talking all this smack.
I know, for real. This guy sucks.
But no, all right, guys. So listen.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks.
So look, I know we want to discuss AEW from last night, right? So I watched the promo with CM Punk and I watched the first match, but because I had to go to bed, because work's been kicking my ass this week. But before we go to AEW, I have to bring it up. The Nia Jax injury angle. Is it a punishment because of the whole shoot with Charlotte and dropping it on her head? Or is this 100% a storyline?
I'm going to go with both. They figure it's going to be punishment, but might as well make it into a storyline at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I heard she needs elbow surgery.
That's what they're saying, but again, is it legit?
I'm not buying it. I kinda, it feels like it's a work.
No. The angle with Shayna is a work, but that doesn't mean that
Yeah, well, no.
The injuries.
It could have been the other arm that actually needs the surgery. For all we know,
put her on the shelf. That way, they have a time frame, for her. Instead of just like, oh, where did she go? You know what I mean? So basically, they planted the seed. So when she comes back, it's her and Shayna. But they give her the time for the surgery and recovery period.
Look, if that's the whole idea, and she comes back and faces Shayna, and she drops Shayna on her head. Look, no offense to Charlotte Flair, but Shayna actually will knock her out in the first punch.
I'm hoping if it's a long stretch for her to recover and come back, I'm hoping they do not put her against Shayna. I just hope it would just like blow over. It would blow over. Shayna goes into singles work. But I do hope, this is me, what I've been saying for months now is, since Natalya and Tamina dropped the straps, Maybe
Right.
give it some time. They go their separate ways, and then when Nia comes back, Nia and Tamina. I've been saying that for months, for the longest. I would like to see them team up, and then
It
maybe
seems like they've shown hints of that, just like through
well,
here and there.
well, they always have because they always showed that relationship on and off screen. I'm just hoping they go try to incorporate it with the whole Heyman and the bloodline thing. Get the females involved. Then they ended up taking. Then Tamina and Nia end up taking the women's tag titles.
I could see it, honestly. If they do that route, I could see it.
Then on top of that, since they already signed Sefa Fatu to NXT, but he hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah.
And then eventually, have him do whatever he's gonna do on NXT, and then make his debut eventually. Then just can continue that whole bloodline thing, working on both brands.
So what you're saying is you want Roman Reigns to hold the title for 2 more years. That way, everything that you say culminates.
Even if he loses it, I can see him gaining it back though, regardless. And then the whole thing with the whole even if he holds it for that long, you're building up to him and Rock at Mania for 2023. Because that's what the plan is for 2023. Because they're skipping over 22.
No, I think I'm telling you, I feel like it's going to be this WrestleMania in Dallas. You need to have a big huge marquee match for that pay-per-view.
I agree with him.
Thing is, Rock has a lot of things in production right now with movies wise and stuff like that.
It doesn't matter.
And the thing is,
no, it does matter.
True.
I forget where I read it, but they are pushing Rock for a contract thing for 2023 to come back. So that's why I said
I can believe it because I've been saying it's going to be in Hollywood. But the reason I'm saying I think it's going to happen now is because of the fact that the Roman can't hold the title for 2 years. Like, they'll lose viewers by then.
I agree with
no, but I could see him losing it and gaining it back then. But
no, I wouldn't do it. I would do it now because his momentum's already there.
Because if you keep this bloodline up for like 2 years, people won't get sick of the bloodline.
Like, how long did the what was the group? The Bloods?
The Brood?
The Brood. How long how long was that going on for WWE?
Oh man, not long, really. Like what?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe a year or
something.
Yeah,
it didn't last long.
Right?
And exactly.
The bloodline is it's not that close to it, but it pretty much has a little taste of each one of it in it. DX, they would come together and leave, come back together and leave.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it's true.
I just think now. Well, here's the thing is I think they're just gonna keep running with the 3 of them and slowly add to it like months at a time.
Yeah, like I just think it's gonna happen this year. But to what T was saying that so with the Rock's movie deals, with any of their movie deals, the insurance companies for the movies have to say it's okay. So if the insurance company for the movie does not allow it, Rock cannot be in. Like the last time he came to Mania, he didn't do anything in the ring.
Right.
He came out, he did a flamethrower, that was it. Because he was still doing the movie, and the insurance company was like, no. Because if he gets hurt, the movie has to stop if the injury is that bad. So now the whole production gets shut down. That's why when they're filming movies, they can't do whatever they want. It comes to that movie's insurance company. But I don't think The Rock is slated for any movies in that time frame. But again, I could be wrong. He could get a movie role at that point. But I think it's going to be this Mania because of how much stuff. The momentum right now behind Roman is already there. You need the icing on the cake is him beating The Rock.
Also, last time they went to Dallas and they filled it up, they broke the Pontiac Silverdome record. So now they want to break their own record, especially with competition and how they're glorifying field seatings and things of that nature.
That's why. That's another reason why I could see them
doing it Dallas.
like Dennis said, doing it in Dallas because
it's the biggest
yeah,
we have.
Again,
you need
you're
it.
gonna get here's the big thing that's gonna happen this WrestleMania. Taker's getting inducted to Hall of Fame because you're in his backyard. You don't do it in Hollywood, you do it in Texas. Okay, you just
absolutely
that's where you do it. You need a big marquee match, which would 100%, I believe, Rock versus Roman. Whether people want to give Roman the credit or not, that's your marquee match, and that's how I see it. And with the whole CM Punk coming back, that's what you got to do.
Exactly.
To bring back some old school fans. You're not going to get the new school fans, but you will gain your old school fans back just for that match. You know. And then you got to figure out the whole tag team stuff and singles competitors, and you know,
it's. I'm telling you right now, it has to, be in 2023 because right now I'm looking at his film work, and as of right now, he has 3 films that are coming up. He has that Free Guy. Well, no, actually a couple. He has Red Notice in 2021. DC League of Super Pets, which they filmed and they showed the trailer
gonna be on,
in 2022.
Netflix, so there's really no
and also in 2022 Black Adam, but that's not coming out till July. So he's gonna want to promote. He's gonna want to promote that too.
He can promote. Well, he can still wrestle this year at this Mania. They're not gonna hold. They're not. Vince doesn't care about what movies he has coming out to promote. Vince will promote them on the show. But again, I think it's this WrestleMania. They're building for it. They've been building for it. They're making it clear as day. We all know they're not going to go with the whole idea that we keep coming up with is to having the Tribal Council. But the whole Nia Jax thing, if she really is injured, get well, get better. Hopefully you're back soon. But if it is a punishment, it's well-deserved. 100% well-deserved to be off the TV because you've injured people. You shot on one of the biggest names on women's roster.
I got here Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, WWE virtually locks Hollywood star for 2023 WrestleMania.
Again, that's the internet, though. I don't believe shit that's on the internet.
I think that's Hall of Fame. That's Hall of Fame for him. Hollywood, because they go back to Hollywood and the next Mania, not this one coming up, but the next one. You know, and it will give credit to Rock working one of the biggest crowds ever in the history of wrestling.
Well, what I'm reading, it says fans who are expecting The Rock to be at WrestleMania 38 April of 2022 are going to be disappointed, as reports suggesting that the former champion is likely to be at the show, but not probably perform though. Probably he'll be at the WrestleMania. Maybe to set the tone for a whole year. Because remember how him and him and John Cena they did that whole year shit going back and forth until the following WrestleMania. That could be the same idea. You know, he can be there at this WrestleMania.
So when do they set up?
I think he froze.
Roman versus Brock.
Well, Chio and them froze again.
And
nope. Now you're back.
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah.
But yeah. I'm just feeling they're gonna Roman Reigns is gonna want him to acknowledge him at WrestleMania, and he's gonna be like, "Fuck no," you know, that kind of thing, and then probably sets is that there's probably going to set the spark to run the whole 1 year angle all the way to excuse me to the following WrestleMania for them to go head to head.
I don't want a year-long storyline. Unfortunately, we've done it 3 times, and it's
they
don't get any better. Like honestly,
that's Vince for you.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think shit's changing. Hopefully, I don't know. Again, we're gonna have to wait and see. To be honest,
yeah, but that's what it really comes down to is wait and see.
But let's dig into that. I didn't watch all of Wednesday night's event. Unfortunately, like I said, I had to go to bed. So
honestly, I feel that opening match for AEW that should have been the main event to let the fans. Like even though Britt Baker, hey, that's great, but I'm thinking the Bryan and Omega that should have been like the whole at the end of the show. Honestly,
look,
because we all agreed just to stare down from across the ring before they even locked up. Goosebumps galore.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole opening was like Hogan Rock Esquisse, just like crowd and just like okay, wait, pop shit, wait, stare down, not the whole this way, but their own unique way. And then once they locked up, that pop just went
because we've been waiting for that match for how many years?
Ever.
All right. So they finally gave us it. Here's, and I get what Anthony was saying. That match didn't need to end that way, but at the same time, it did.
Yeah, it did.
I don't like draws, but that was that one time that it worked in their favor.
Right. I was going to say, it's like that one time you get it.
From a fan standpoint, not professionally, I like that finish because now I go, we're going to get a Daniel Bryan versus Omega 2 now.
Well, here's the thing. Well, when they're going to go for the big one, who knows? We might see him in some tag matches, some trios matches until we see that big one-on-one part 2 match, which I believe it should be like the whole hour Iron Man type thing or,
Yeah.
Because right here they went the time limit draw for 30 minutes. Well, why 30 minutes? Let's go a whole hour and make it an Iron Man, which Omega always claims, the best bout for bout guy out there, wrestler out there.
Best bout machine.
Yeah, and then like there's a second year in a row made the Mark Mag on the top 500.
Not in a row.
Yeah, he made it last year too, didn't he?
No.
Who was last year?
It wasn't him.
I swear it was him last year.
What,
Look. I swear it was last year.
No, it wasn't him. Like he won it a few years ago, and then everybody in WWE, he won it when he was in New Japan.
I don't know.
Just go to his number one.
That's why I was gonna look at the back because sometimes.
But it wasn't him last year. I'm pretty sure it was
Moxley. I thought he was the year before. Okay, here. 20, he was 30. No.
Or did Roman win last year?
I'm not sure. It's not showing. I gotta go back and look. But anyway, yeah, that match was incredible. The hard hitting, the damn V. You know what got me? That damn dragon suplex off the top rope.
That was a nice.
That scared me. No, that scared me.
He could have broke his fucking neck.
Like that's the one move. I have 5 of them. I ain't taking for nobody. I don't care who you are. Snapdragon is one of them. No sir.
Yeah, no, that's the one move that always scares me. Like I've had people say they want to hit me with. I'm like, no, I'm good. No, there's moves I will not do in the ring, whether I know how to take them or not. I will not take them.
We have a great
sometimes
match.
You just don't trust the person.
And a headlock.
Pretty much what it is.
Yeah. Who else did we have that night? We had the match between Cody and
Malachi Black.
You know, but before that, was that
MJF and Flying Brian?
Pillman Jr.
Yeah.
Well, you said you didn't watch it all. You said you just caught the first match.
I saw the lineup
highlights. Okay.
They had a lot on the first night, but
dude, it honestly it was it was a pay-per-view type
basically.
show.
They
And
had
then
Yeah, it
FDR
was.
FDR versus Sting and Darby. They
Yep.
had
don't remind me of that match because fucking
Oh.
Darby, man, with that coffin drop onto the apron.
Yo,
onto-
I saw that. I saw that on the internet.
if he would have missed and cracked his skull or something, that's why I am not a fan of Darby's, because he's just throwing himself. That's all it is. He's throwing himself, and I don't like that, because not only are you putting yourself at risk, you're putting the other guy at risk too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, here, I get it. AEW they're trying to like mix.
They are the alternative from WWE. That's what
they're trying to mix in a high flying Japanese lucha libre style with a mix of
hybrid style.
Yeah, a hybrid. 100 AEW is a hybrid show. The fans know songs. The fans cheer for who they want, whether they're a face or a heel. They get behind catchphrases. It's the Attitude Era all over again, which I'm not knocking. I love every little goddamn second of it. It's enjoyable to hear the fans really liking what's going on. But then they have these guys. And I have the utmost respect for Darby Allin. I will never knock anybody because they're working for TV. I'm not. There's that.
Right.
But it comes to a point to where when is the risk not worth it? Okay,
he gets injured for real.
Because here's the thing.
He's been injured doing this move already.
No,
He
but I
doesn't
mean,
care.
no, there's gonna be a point in time he's gonna care. Right?
Well, it's not only
he's young. He's like 20 something.
Management needs. Here's what management needs to pull him to the side. Look, we signed you. You're under contract. If you get hurt by doing some reckless stuff where you can't 100% control it, and you can't perform, then you gotta sit at home and we gotta pay you.
Yeah, like it's just again, management's behind it, so they're not gonna care.
Well, that's what happened with WWE when Rey Mysterio came in. Like they had him tone down his style of lucha because we're paying you, and if you get hurt, we still got to pay you while you're sitting home. Then that's why a lot of the guys when they're on NXT, before when there was the black and yellow with Triple H, the guys can really go, and then when they come up to the main roster, they got to stop doing certain things because Vince looks at, hey, I'm investing in you. And for you to go on the shelf, it's not going to do me any good. Is she bugging you? Is Nina bugging you? I see you smiling. She
just got home. And she's literally grabbing stuff, and I'm looking at her like what she's doing, and she's like, "I got a shower," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." She's trying to be quiet as she walked in the room because she knows we're live on the internet. But I don't care. She's throwing us the heart. She's going like this, guys.
Oh, we love you, Nina. We love you.
She can hear you through this headphone.
Mikey ain't throwing up the heart. What the fuck, man? We did.
I'm sorry.
Mikey doesn't have. I don't want his wife whooping his ass.
Yeah. Speaking of wives whooping ass, I seen I was gonna say I seen
up. That's why I'm making a face like. Speaking of which,
I was like, shit.
I've told some of these guys in that group chat that has never met Monique does not understand how real she will get when you mess with her family or her cubs. When I say I will physically put a referee shirt on to officiate this fight, I will, and I will not see anything dirty she does. Because there will be a lot. The fight won't go longer than probably 30 seconds. It'll be the longest 30 seconds that guy's ever made in his life. So
but yeah, but going off of that, T, as I was cutting you off way earlier in the beginning of the show, yeah, we're getting a new Dallas show on the show. So let's just
What?
we're getting a new Dallas podcast show, not the other one that you were trying to mention.
And what is
So
this one called?
that's why we don't know yet. That's
no,
why I was.
no, don't you don't need to plug it, man.
If anything, maybe we can get Monique to be the producer of that show, just to keep them in order, in line.
She should. She's a Dallas fan.
Well, there you go. There you go. And then she can sleep on the couch, like Pat said.
What?
Now, with that being said, I'm gonna leave that fight up to them at home. So
Yeah,
Exactly.
but
That's all them.
so,
Yeah.
gentlemen, what match? Leaving the main event out, match of the night besides the main event that everybody keeps talking about.
Brian versus.
Nope,
Omega.
can't use that one.
Yeah,
We
this
already
is-
know
this
that was a
is
good match.
about-
Any
yeah.
match but that one. Which one would stand out the most? Which
Main
was your
event? The main event?
no, he said without without the main event.
the main
Yep.
event? Technically, was the first match of the night. Nothing against them, but they
Any
kept
match
calling
of
it
the
the main
night
event.
except that one.
Well, damn. It's kind of hard because I was having family problems yesterday, so I really wasn't fully concentrated on everything that was happening.
That's fair.
But the three matches that stick out to me the most, would be the first one, the last one, MJF and Flying Brian Jr., FTR, Sting, and Darby. Like I really, my mind can't think of anything else right now, unless if something I missed, I'm sorry because my brain is not full of air today.
No, that's fine. Mikey,
I was gonna say, well, I know match you didn't mention. I think what you're hinting at is Ruby versus Britt Baker. That was another match.
He said
The matches that I caught last night were the first match. I caught Malachi Black and Cody, and I caught the last one because I was doing laundry, so I had to keep running back and forth.
I say Malachi and Cody because they told a story. Crowd were into it. They switched up on both of them, so they basically turned Cody heel. Brandy tried to do something, but it didn't work her way, even though she was trying to come back,
Yep.
and it didn't work her way. Like everybody in the mother's pro Malachi, Aleister Black, Tommy N, because we love his style and he brings a lot to the table. You know, so
100%. Now already does his finisher in AEW.
Yeah, I actually have a toss up between one or the other. It's either going to be MJF and Pillman Jr. or the tag match with FTR, because Sting was in there for a long time. He was he worked. Sting worked. He was selling. They were putting it to Sting.
You have to understand who he was working. FTR.
I know that, but what I'm saying is, instead of it
for his age.
But what I'm saying is, in any other organization, you would see the young guy like Darby being in there taking the heat, and Sting be waiting for the hot tag. Here, Sting was taking the heat. He was working his ass off. He was working it. So that's where my toss up is between that tag match and the MJF and Pillman Jr. I can't really decide between the two of them, honestly. So.
Now, once I watch it all, I'll have all my matches, but I didn't get I'm not going to say that Omega versus Daniel Bryan because in my mind, I already knew how great that match was going to be. We've been only waiting years for that match to actually happen in person, and it finally did. We just didn't expect it to happen in AEW.
I'm thinking, I loved having Anthony on here. I would like to get more other people from other podcasts on to speak with us to have their perspective as well. So it'd be great to have different perspectives, because a lot of times we hear or on the same page and we talk about the same shit, but we really don't hear other people's perspective, and they might throw some light into what we might not think about.
We should try to do an podcast all-star day.
Yeah, we just start getting contact with other podcast guys.
Have them all come on for like a full day worth of podcast talking.
Yeah. But you know what, guys? It's getting late. And I know we all got
to get up early.
Yeah, he got to get up early.
Unfortunately, I got to be in I got Delaware to do tomorrow. But we gotta touch on something that popped up to the internet that us three gentlemen were talking about earlier about the Joe Gacy stuff.
I didn't really get into that, so like,
I saw him on NXT. He looked like he was doing a down south church Bible thumping type guy, at least from the dynamics that he was doing. I was trying to figure out what it was, but he was all forgiving, and it to me, it looked like a generic Bray Wyatt.
Like,
that's just me.
Well, Bray Wyatt was pretty much like a Waylon Mercy character from back in the day, which was portrayed by Dan Spivey. So it was like, and the way he got that character, Dan Spivey, for Waylon Mercy, is they were looking at that movie Cape Fear with Robert De Niro. That was that character that progressed into that, which that's how Bray Wyatt did. They wanted that.
But it was like basically a gospel minister or some type of Mormon boy, and Bray created a baby, and that's what, at least that's what my eyes saw. Like I'm not sure he was
a Southern Mormon Baptist.
He was all forgiving, you know, like this and that. So I guess that's what I portrayed the Bray stuff from. Like, you know, the red vest Bray, like, I like you, brother, and things like that, before he gets all crazy and goes fiend ways.
But what are your thoughts on the whole WWE removing this segment from social media and their websites now? Ever since he debuted last night,
me personally, I taken out. I really don't.
I didn't even know.
I did not know until you said it.
It was just one debut of the gimmick, and I'm so used to seeing him as Joe Gacy, as what we know him from the Indies. That,
bro, we seen a whole lot worse. A whole segment dedicated to a person, and I don't know where it's going. And you like, what the fuck?
Like, what happened? Like, they're calling it, like they said the word. The woke, it's not the woken, so it's called the woke or whatever. So technically, it's not a knockoff or ripoff of anybody, but it apparently was controversial. Apparently, from the article I'm reading, I'm like, there's 5 different articles now, but it's all over the internet now that his segment is now officially deleted and disappeared from all social media. All his tweets about last night are all gone. Like.
I'm gonna say, hey, it was once and done. Is like nobody's gonna really remember or even care. Honestly, seriously.
The fact maybe be a blessing for him, because like I looked at his character. I looked at it like, okay, so what are we doing with him? And that's what he gave us. I'm like, all right, we'll see where it goes from there. So if they start from the drawing board, so be it.
I am personally more invested into the NXT fans, as far as I want them to get really smart and start chanting Steiner for Bronson. Just start chanting Steiner.
Oh, it's going to happen.
That's what I want to hear them.
That kid is so talented. It's not even goddamn funny.
Like literally, WWE would probably have to turn down the volume on the crowd and turn up the mics on their announcers or whatever, just to try to drown them out or whatever, or not even. Or you know them, the crowd's gonna be chanting Steiner, and they'll say something. Oh, what they're really saying is blah blah blah, whatever they come up with.
Yep.
So
I agree.
But gentlemen, like I said, this was a pretty fun night. It was a little bit disorganized because we kept losing signal ourselves over here. But I'm glad things worked out on your end that you guys can hear and see each other. So, but yeah, we're gonna go back and I'm gonna check out the replay and see what looks good and what doesn't. And if anything, maybe I can do some editing.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone, tune into our podcast family of Devereaux Sports. All the shows, the Gobbler Inc., the Solar Squad, the Old Heads, the Scrapple Boys, the Combat Misfits, us at the Body Slams podcast team with Breakfast and Body Slams, Thursday Night Slam, and Pop-Up Pipe Bombs. As far as I know, I don't think I'm missing anyone.
En Convenciones de Lucha Libre.
Well, that's the affiliates. That's the affiliates from Puerto Rico, as well as Anthony Blackwell from the Tornado Tag podcast with Andy Header and Brian, as well as the two Daves, DB Richards and Dave Keener from the 2300 Wrestling podcast. And coming soon, the vlog father, Dennis Reaper with Reap the Future. That's right. I'm going to call you the vlog father.
It's going to be a YouTube series. It's not even going to be blogging. It's going to be a YouTube series.
No, not blog. V. V as in Victor. Video blog.
You going to get him hurt because somebody's going to mention hose and his wife is going to
come home. I got hose.
And then he's like, what you mean
different area codes. Different area codes. Dennis got hose.
Like, stop.
He got
she's in the bathroom. She can't hear nothing.
That's right now here like Ric Flair, WrestleMania 29 Hall of Fame.
Knock
it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, come next week we have upcoming indie star. He probably has I think I know the guy for like a couple years right now, but he's very impressive to me. He's transitioning himself into different characters, and he's trying to find his way. Mr. Dylan Mesh will be here. So we like to give young indie guys a platform so they can get their name out there and help shine to the world of other promoters who might take a look at them. As well, in October, we have Jared. Help me out here. I don't got it in front of me.
I will butcher his last name. Do not ask me.
Okay, we got Jared.
But I can give you the right.
Gainem. I
believe so. That's how it's pronounced.
And the Thursday after him, we have Brittany Hewlett. Yeah, I'm butchering last names already. I can get the first name. Last name
I'm trying to remember how to say her last name. Shoot, and I was just looking at it.
On the 21st, we have our spot open. We're looking to fill that. Who knows? We might have another indie superstar that might pop up. Might be Mikey, for all we know. And he can tell us about his life as a wrestler.
Yep.
Very short-lived.
I'm gonna say you don't want to miss those 2 October shows. I can tell you that right now.
And at the end of the month, we have Rebecca Payne finally on the show then, once we get this whole internet situation fixed. Right. And in November, we're going to be debuting our new schedule. The Breakfast and Body Slams will actually be weekly on Sundays, where the guys taking lead will be me and Dennis, but we're going to flip-flop the weeks. So one week you'll have him leading the group with Mikey, T, and whoever else jumps in, probably Austin or Pat. And then the following week will be me. But starting on this November 7th, I believe it is Dennis's debut in the head chair, being the head cheerleader. But when people and Thursday Night Slam will be bi-weekly starting in November. So the way it lays out for everyone, it's the Thursday Night Slam show. We have 2 Breakfast and Body Slams, then another Thursday Night Slam, and then 2 more. It's going to go 1 and 2, 1, 2, like that. And then the same thing with me and him. You'll see us flip-flop unless one day we just happen to be on together. Whatever happens.
Yep.
So, but you look like you got something to say. You're leaning in here.
No, I'm about to say thank you for everything and good night.
Thank you for watching the Prime Show.
The Prime Show, that's right. You heard it right, Chucky Cheese. cheese with Chucky and the Knob Gobbler Pat. You could be the A show. We're the prime show. That's right. We're back
we're on prime time.
All right. Before we go,
You gotta make
does anybody have to shoot on anybody?
Why are we shooting?
I'm looking at Dennis especially. Do you have to shoot on anybody that you do not care for? Mikey, do you have any comments you like to say for anyone that you dislike? This is your part to get whatever bullshit you want to get out now.
No, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
No, not even the wife. Is she pissing you off about something?
Oh no. Mary's good. Mary's good.
Sure. Does she?
Yeah.
Does she leave the cap off the toothpaste or anything like that? And you're fed up with it, and you're gonna put your foot.
No, she's pretty good.
I know Dennis can't say nothing right now because Nina will come across the room and just like straight manhandle him. Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't like to get beat, but sometimes no.
Yeah, we like to get beat. But yeah. Bring out the
for the fans. It'd be
the fuzzy
cool
handcuffs.
To have a kick just fly across the street.
We're just gonna see a foot come out of anywhere from somewhere off the side of the screen and catch Dennis in the head. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to our silliness. That's right. We're a bunch of silly bastards here on Thursday Night Slam on the Body Slams podcast. Jump online to bodyslams.pro and you can check out all our links. Like, share, follow, subscribe, click that notification button, see when we're live. We're on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, as well as a whole heap of listening audio platforms such as Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, and a whole bunch of others. They're all listed on the webpage. So, like I said, you go there, you can follow us on any one of those things. You can check out the replays of our shows as well. They're in playlists as well. And thanks for tuning in. And once again, I'm Chio for T, for Mikey and Dennis. We're out.
Peace out.
Peace. Thank you.